What's going on, everybody? Long time no see again. It's another lovely week here in the beautiful province of Ontario, and I assume it's also lovely for Mr. Neil in the state of
Yeah,
lovely New York. Yeah,
beautiful sunny day. Only in the mid 60s, so it's actually not bad
Ooh.
today. It's actually quite nice.
it's I'm 100% going to hit some golf balls later because it's 25 degrees Celsius and
Wow.
sunny.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh frig, I gotta take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Happy post Mother's Day too, by the way. Hopefully you had a good Mother's Day
Shout out to
weekend.
all the mothers.
Yeah, shout out to all the mothers. Got my mother a bottle of wine and some nice Lindor chocolate. So
Lovely.
yeah,
Lovely.
um,
We took my mom out to breakfast and then helped her with grocery shopping and then made a really nice her favorite meal, which is soft shell crabs with spaghetti, which is tremendous.
ooh, that'd be interesting. I
So it's
picked up a
very
good
good.
recipe on the weekend actually. It was a shrimp taco recipe. I've had shrimp tacos
Ooh.
ever.
Really? You never had them?
I don't. I think like once or twice maybe, but it's been a long time.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're very good. Also picked up this hoodie because now I'm going to be graduating
You are
a
an
week
alumni.
from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow, I will be officially graduating. And for all the lovely hockey fans out there, my graduation will be at the Prudential Center, or the home of the New
Ah,
Jersey Devils.
that's exciting.
So that's going to be a lot
Well,
of fun. Yeah, it's going to be a blast.
nice. Congrats on that. At least you
Thank
had a
you.
graduation. We didn't. We literally had a YouTube video where it just like
Well,
scrolled past all the names because of COVID.
oh, because of the pandemic. Yeah. Well, I graduated with my associates in 2020, and I didn't even get a ceremony. It was literally
Right.
like last day done. A couple weeks later, they sent me my degree, and that was pretty much it. Like
That's
it
all it
was.
is, man.
So
Like,
the fact that I actually get to walk this time is not only big for myself, but it's big for my family. So I'm really looking forward
I'm
to it.
glad you
And
see it that way. I just never did personally. Like, I
that's
just think I'm just like, give me my piece of paper and get me the hell out of here. Like, I remember actually, it's funny. I remember not long ago, I saw that, or I pulled up my there's the graduate list from when I graduated back in COVID, right? And
Mhm.
there was a star beside my name, and I'm like, wait, what was this again? And I looked down, and it was like I graduated with honors, which is anywhere between 70 and 79% overall,
Okay.
right? And I'm like, really? I thought I did worse.
Yeah, I thought I sucked in. I
I
thought I
thought,
sucked in class.
man, Neil, if there's anything you need to know about me educational wise, I was 70s all the way through. I was
I
never
mean,
good enough, but I
you're
was
still
never bad enough.
passing.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was
yeah,
never
you're
good,
still.
but not
I
bad.
I got on I got on the dean's list for like the fall semester, and I was like, I
Hey,
didn't know I
okay.
was that good. It was
Yeah,
kind
you
of
kind
like
of
a.
surprise yourself a little bit, right? You're like, oh,
Oh yeah. Oh,
huh,
100%. Like
son
I
of a
was.
bitch.
it-
Like,
It's it's like damn. I guess I am pretty smart.
that's funny. Well,
But yeah, I
congrats.
mean, other than that,
Yeah.
another week. I don't know if anybody's an NBA fan, but draft lottery for the NBA is tonight. And for those of you that don't know, I'm a
Oh,
Brooklyn Nets fan, so I am definitely praying to God, praying to the basketball gods, because the regular God doesn't care
no,
at all, which is
regular God
understandable.
doesn't care.
Regular
No.
God could care less, but
Yeah.
basketball gods, another story. I mean, it's the Cooper flag sweepstakes. So who's going to capture the flag? It's really
Uh,
unfortunate that we don't in the NHL lottery. It's really unfortunate that we don't have enough like top level players with names that could really flow off the tongue. Although I've heard expressions before, like it's. I've heard
yeah,
some really. I've like tank hard for Connor Bedard, which was good. Um,
that's not bad. You have to go with like, uh,
I've
it's
heard
funny because
some.
the last names are not
I've
really
heard
that
some
great.
pretty inappropriate ones for sure. It's
Yeah,
not even.
it's not
It's
even close.
it's ridiculous. So.
Yeah, so in terms of Flames news, not a ton to break this week. We thought we would maybe hear a bit more after Coronado gets signed.
Right.
This is kind of a world championship slash check in on the prospects kind of episode. Not going to be a super long one today.
We
Um,
say that, and it's gonna be like 45 minutes.
I know, like we've said that before, I swear to God, and it's been like an hour later, right?
Yeah, yeah,
um,
having a
so the
blast.
first thing I wanted to bring up, prospect wise, we'll get into the World Championships afterwards. But Mateo Green was who won a QMJHL award out in the Quebec Major Junior League. So he was the first round pick last year of the Flames. He was
Hey,
Rookie of the Year, offensive Rookie of the Year for the Calgary Flames. So Him and the Shawinigan Cataracts unfortunately did not make it to the QMJHL final. They were one round short of advancing. They lost. They ended up losing to Moncton. For anybody who watches the CHL, so they ended up losing there in that one. Speaking of the CHL too, the Memorial Cup is almost set, believe it or not, because it's hosted in Rimouski in Quebec this year. Former Sidney Crosby's former club, they're hosting it this year. And because Rimouski's in the final of the QMJHL, that automatically means that the team that they're facing, the Moncton Wildcats, are also heading to the Memorial Cup. So normally you'd have to win in order to get in, but because the host is already in the final, it doesn't matter at all.
I don't like that, to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of that ruling because I feel like for other teams, you're kind of put into a tough situation. I mean, I get it. There's three. What is there? 3 leagues, right? The WHL, the QMJHL, and the OHL, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it fills out because you'll still get 3 teams. You'll still get a team from each league, and then the host. Okay, now that let me go back and say that I'm fine with it now.
It's very rare outside of literally the last 2 years where a team has made it to the final and have either won it or they lost it, but it doesn't matter because they're the host and they're going to go to the tournament regardless. So we know that it's Moncton and Rimouski in. I've been watching a bit, actually. I was watching a bit of the OHL final right now. The Oshawa Generals and the London Knights are tied 1-1 in that series, and so is Gavin McKenna, next year's number 1 pick. Gavin McKenna's Medicine Hat Tigers.
We assume to potentially be.
Yeah, Medicine Hat and Spokane are also tied 1-1 in the WHL. So also news out of the speaking of the WHL as well, Andrew Basha, who I believe had an injury for about the last 4 months or so, finally actually made his debut, and he was able to because Medicine Hat is in the WHL final. He made his return in game 1 of the series and already had an instant impact, and he scored right away. So we're going to be watching a bit more of Andrew Basha. For any Flames prospects really going into the last kind of bit here before the Memorial Cup, that's the only name you really need to concern yourselves around. The other one is Samuel Moran from the Moncton Wildcats, who you'll also see, but he hasn't really flourished as a lot as hoped for. Sorry, Etienne Moran. Moran is his name. But Andrew Bosch is probably going to be the one you're going to want to watch for throughout the championship series as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so there you go. And then, basically other news that we've had so far is in the World Championships, we have 3 Flames prospects. Neil's been doing a great job of covering his Devils. And 3 so far for the Flames. You got Michael Backlund and Rasmus Anderson on Team Sweden. Anderson
who are
captain.
Currently playing, as we are recording this, they are in the first period against Finland. I believe Sweden is
almost lost to France.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we are seeing now these countries, these smaller countries that we're not used to seeing be competitive in this tournament being there. At the time of this recording, Switzerland is in first place overall on the table after a dominant 3-0 win over the United States earlier this morning. I mean, they beat them. I mean, 3-0 is 3-0, but they just outplayed them by a lot.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it now here. Yeah, my God, they actually did dominate. What the hell?
Yeah, that's USA looked flat from the get-go. I mean, from the standpoint of me covering the Devils, it was fine because, Jonas Siegenthaler had one of the 3 goals. I think what's also great about this tournament, Kyle, is that we get to see a lot of players that we don't know very much about that play in these other professional leagues in Europe.
Yes.
And it's really, really fun to watch. I think there's this one guy on Switzerland that I think I forgot. It might be it's Tyler Moy or Tyler. I don't know how to say it correctly.
I can't.
Tyler Moy, who actually is a former. He's a former 6th round pick by the Predators back in 2015.
Oh, wow.
And he has played in Switzerland, where he's from, since 2018-19, and he's had a very, very strong career playing over there after playing at Harvard and then with the Milwaukee Admirals in the AHL. But that's an example of, and he leads the team in goals.
Wow.
It's not Kevin Fiala, it's not Nico Hischier, it's not Timo Meyer, it's not any of the guys you expect. but they are really playing well, and it shows you like that country's growing. France,
Austria had Sweden on the ropes recently
Austria
too.
did. Yep.
Yeah, Leo Carlson, by the way, scored for Sweden.
Leo Carlson. And I think Eric Gustafson and someone else got an assist.
Lucas Raymond.
Lucas Raymond. So there you go. There's that connection.
Yeah, so we'll be watching a bit really for Flames prospects, guys. It is going to be Sweden and Team Canada. Mackenzie Weegar, who was in the plus rating the other day when they played, I believe, Slovenia, if I'm not mistaken. They ended up winning 5-0 in that one. I think Canada is the U.S. Obviously, we're in action today. No Dustin Wolf on Team USA. How do you feel about that? Like being an American, not having Dustin on the team.
I think the question is, number one, was he invited?
I thought he was.
If he was invited and said no, I mean that's his choice. That's not.
Well, of course, yeah.
But if USA didn't even invite him, that's not good because it's like, well, you're not putting yourself. And I get it. Look, I totally get it that a lot of the players in the NHL look at a tournament like this as just an opportunity to just keep playing after you either didn't, make the playoffs or in a lot of cases you get knocked out in the first round. But at the same time, like, it's still important regardless because international play. So I would have liked to have seen Dustin Wolf. I think they could certainly use him. I mean, granted, they're 2-0-1. So like that was their first loss, but they didn't look great.
To Switzerland, out of all teams, right?
Yeah.
So the US's next game is going to be against Norway. Canada will be playing France tomorrow. And for Flames not prospects, but players, Backlund and Anderson currently playing right now against Finland in that one. I want to see the table actually, because you said that Switzerland was on. Sorry, who was on top?
I think. I'll bring it up for you. I'll actually.
So Canada's on top in Group A, and so is Sweden. Fair enough.
I think it was I think they showed like points wise. Switzerland currently, out of all the teams, Switzerland at right now at least has the most points. They now have 7 because they've had points in all 3 of their games so far. They lost in overtime to Czechia, and then they won. I think they played. I have to remember who they played. I might have played Latvia in the next game, but then they ended up, and then they won obviously today against the United States. So as of right now, the top 3 in Group B are Switzerland, Germany, and the United States. And in Group A, it's Canada, Sweden, and Finland. Should also mention that this is one of the first times that we have multiple countries hosting this tournament. It's not just one. Both Sweden and Denmark are each hosting this. So that's kind of how, and that's why Denmark's in one group and Sweden is in the other. So Group A is playing in Sweden, while Group B is playing their games in Denmark.
Got it. That makes sense. And also for the Canadians as well, too. They beat Latvia 7-1 yesterday.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
Just watching it was not fair.
Well, like, you knew when Crosby was coming. That was kind of a telltale, like, all right, well, here comes his buddies.
Well, here comes the reinforcement. Here comes the reinforcement.
And
I think what's insane to think about is this is the first time we've seen Marc-Andre Fleury in a Canadian sweater. I think they said in like 20 years.
I'm so
happy. Which is insane to think about.
So happy that he's playing, though. Like, it's great. I'm glad.
It's the only thing in his career he hasn't done.
Yeah.
So, getting a shot.
He's going to get a great chance because he's got Crosby and McKinnon all of a sudden. Like, who would have had that on their bingo card? Like,
look at who Crosby gets to play with as well. Like Macklin Celebrini. Look at Celebrini, man. He gets this like unbelievable opportunity. And like, yeah, I know. It's just like, that was like maybe the one bad thing with the Avs getting knocked out in the first round. It's like, oh great. So McKinnon. Is Makar? I think Makar is too.
I don't think he is. I'm gonna double check.
Makar made a business decision and said, "I'm not."
He was like, "Nah, I think we're good."
Nah, does the SpongeBob? Nah, I don't really feel like it. So
like, really feel it. Like so for Team Canada, like it's Nate McKinnon, Braden Shen, right? For St. Louis, like he went over there. Travis Konecny, Bo Horvat, Adam Fantilli. Who was it? Mackenzie Weegar, Brandon Montour, Ryan O'Reilly, Kent Johnson, Macklin Celebrini. Like, What the hell, man? Like,
So,
why?
so this is what's crazy. There is only one player on this Canada team that is not in the NHL currently,
Oh,
and
isn't that
that
Dylan Garland? Dylan
it is
Garland?
Dylan Garland, who's a goaltender. I believe he's the backup. If
Yes.
he's the backup to Fleury, he's a New York Ranger prospect, currently playing for the Hartford Wolfpack. And you know what? So, what year? Take a guess. What year was Marc Andre Fleury born? Just take a guess. What year was he born?
1988.
No, 84.
Oh, I was close. Okay.
What year do you think Dylan Garin was born in? Like, what year do you think?
2002.
It is 2002.
Hey.
So by the time Garin was born, Fleury was already 18.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's wild.
He was already drafted.
Well, it's good for Dylan then. I mean,
Oh
to kind
yeah.
of, get to have that sort of
Yeah,
experience
so the
with this
Rangers can
team.
have yet another goaltending wizard.
Well, I wouldn't say that just yet.
Okay, yeah, no, I
I
know.
wouldn't say
He's
that.
not Russian. He's not Russian, so look, they've had a Hall of Fame. Think about this. They've had a Hall of Fame uh, American goaltender, Mike Richter,
Yep.
Swedish Hall of Fame goaltender in Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah.
I would assume that if things keep going the way they go, that Shesterkin could become a Hall of Famer down the road. So that would make we put Russian. Maybe we'll see. He's got to win a cup. I think that will help.
It's going to help his resume because I think he
Gotta help.
has to win a cup,
100%.
right? Yeah.
So
I think he would. Anyway, yeah, there you go. World Championships continue along here. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll take a quick break here, and then we'll quickly chat about the playoffs, and we'll call it a day early.
you want to talk about Quinn Hughes? No, we don't have to talk about.
No, God, no, I don't want to talk about Quinn Hughes.
I'm so beyond that point now.
I'm over it. I'm completely over it.
Believe me, I've been over it. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, that kind of talk for me just isn't fun. Like, come on, like, yeah, we can all dream, but it's like it's stupid headlines at the end of the day, right? Call me when it actually happens. I know. That's why the summertime sucks for that kind of stuff too, right?
The only time the summer's entertaining is when we get to the draft. Obviously,
yeah,
first round. If we're being honest, like we like, and then July 1st.
That's all it is.
After that, it's like okay, now we got to deal with the rest of July, the rest of August, the majority of September, and then we play again.
It is the majority of September, isn't it? It really is the majority of September.
If you think about because I mean, maybe like the last 2 weeks.
First half.
Yeah, because
something like that. I agree. Okay, yeah, we'll quickly come back on the other side, and we'll chat about the playoffs and go enjoy the outdoors today because it's too friggin' nice out. If you're ready to win some real cash during the basketball and hockey playoffs, check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball and hockey payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 posterizes the competition, including prize picks. Hit all your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick 6, plus even more cash if you outscore the competition. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. You can download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins. It's only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
So we, our intern has officially started as of today, which is exciting. And I was going to bring that up, actually. So I was going to bring that up, actually. So again, his name's Nicholas. He started with us. He just finished up his final exams at Albion College, I believe, is where he went, and he's still in.
Where is that?
I think he said Michigan. Yeah, but he's from Toronto, from the Toronto area, though.
I was going to say, what is the name of the school?
Albion, I think it's what it's called.
Albion?
Yeah,
All right, let me look.
I think so. Anyway, he's been doing a great job initially, just because he's had school
Oh,
and all that fun stuff. But
okay.
yeah,
I know.
it's
Okay, this is in Michigan. Yep, you are correct. Yep. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
so it's
Catholic
good for
school.
him, and he's gonna be doing a lot of our social media now for the next little while, and it's exciting to have. And anyway, he brought this up literally what 2 minutes ago, give or take.
Literally, as like we were finishing up.
Well, I mean, let's talk about each series real quick. Let's start with this one here. So
Yeah,
obviously
let's start with this one. Yeah.
we saw what happened in Edmonton, Game 3. Vegas wins it with
Sure.
zero point 0.4 seconds left. We all know that fun
No,
stuff
no,
here.
it wasn't Vegas. Leon Draisaitl game-winning goal
Yeah.
to give the Golden Knights the win. Great deflection.
So there is a bit of a shakeup here in terms
Oh,
of
no.
the Edmonton lineup, as it's going to be McDavid with Perry and Hyman, Nuge now with Draisaitl and Janmark, Kane, Henrique, and Brown. And it's a mishmash on the fourth line. They don't really know what the fourth line is going to look like. Stuart Skinner apparently is going to start Game 4 because Calvin Pickard is not ready to go for Game 4. How worried are Oilers fans on a scale of 1 to 10?
11.
Really?
I'm being honest, because I'll tell you why. I think the way that game 3 went for them feels like a turning of the tide type of thing, because
Yeah.
when Edmonton tied it late and it looked like it was going overtime, my feeling was, okay, Edmonton's going to figure it out here and they're going to get it
In OT.
done.
Yeah.
In OT, for sure. And then when Vegas won the way that they did, and you see that like Stuart Skinner, like, gotta
What
be
was he
honest, man,
doing?
should have just stayed in his net.
Yeah.
That was
Like, what are
like
you
pretty
doing?
bad with how bad he was out of position. And then Knobloch's going to make this type of change at this stage when you're up in the series still, by the way.
Right.
It shows a sign that like clearly the Oilers don't feel comfortable with what they've been doing. And the one thing I'll say is this. Once again, for like the 1,000th year in a row, we have to wonder about the health of Mark Stone on the Vegas side. And
don't think I don't think he's going to be playing Game 4.
I think he'll be back, but it's tough to say.
Yeah. That's the
And
vibe I'm getting here.
the thing I'll say about this is that I can't see either one of these teams making it to the finals right now because their goaltending is a huge issue. Like Aiden Hill, Aiden Hill hasn't been good.
I really think the road through the West is going to go through Dallas at this point. I don't think there's a team better than Dallas in the West right now. Like, how many times have we said that, though, in previous
I think
years?
The Cup might be going through Dallas, honestly.
But it's funny. We've said that in previous years, and it's like, man, like, when are they ever going to show up? And now, like, with Rantanen's arrival, right? Like, it changes things. Maybe that's what that was the missing piece that they needed, right?
But going back to this.
But yeah, sorry, back to Edmonton.
Yeah, I mean, a mishmash in the fourth line. I don't
like
get it.
What?
Connor Brown on the third line is kind of a choice. Janmark, no.
Janmark being on the second line
works, it works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Janmark being on that second line is mind blowing.
It's a choice.
Like, where the hell is Jeff Skinner?
Yeah,
right?
This man's been waiting like what, 20 years to finally play in the playoffs, and he gets no shot to play.
I'm shocked he's not playing.
He could score still.
Yeah.
He's not a bad play. Look, say what you want about Jeff Skinner. Okay, the man was on a really bad contract in Buffalo, but that was Buffalo.
Buffalo thought he was bad on a bad contract.
Yeah. But like, it's not that he's a bad player. It's just he was never going to live up to that contract.
Right. Okay.
So that's the way I look at it. Like, he should get a shot, no?
Yeah, I think there's maybe a reason why, though, he's not been in the lineup, right?
Yeah.
That's just me. I think there's a big reason why he's not in it.
Same.
But I don't know. I think, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, there's definitely, I would say it's definitely up there, like a 7 to an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's crazy to say, but like they were talking about it this morning on TSN, where they said like Calvin Pickard wasn't doing anything crazy. Like he was just making the saves that needed to be made.
Right,
It's
exactly.
not like he's playing out of his mind. He's not
No.
the reason why the Oilers are winning this series so far.
Right.
It's the guys in front of him. And,
For sure.
when Stuart Skinner's in, he doesn't necessarily help this team win, right? So Vegas is seeing this as an opportunity going, we can drag this thing back to Vegas tied up.
If it goes back to Vegas tied up, I have a hard time believing that the Oilers feel like we're still okay. Because Vegas is going to go back home being like, look, we've tied it up. We're not losing game 5. Oh, no. We're not losing again at home.
It's almost like the reverse thing that happened with the Oilers and the Kings. When everybody thought the Kings were going to win that series, right? They were up 2-0. Oilers win 4 straight, just like that.
Yeah. It's nothing saying that, like, a win as dramatic as it was for Vegas could very well be something that sparks them to win maybe even the next 3 games. And then by the time we get around to next week, we're talking about, well, Vegas was down 2-0, came all the way back and won the series in 6. And like, it's just, it's like that quote from, I forgot what movie on top of my head, but like, it's Vegas, baby. Like there's just
baby.
It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable that they won the game the way that they did, because it should have gone to overtime.
It should have.
It really should have. And the fact that they lost that way is just not
good. Because Oilers fans knew that they had them, right? Where like they could have shut the door. Yes. You're up 3-0. Like you've got this in the bag. Now it just completely turned the tide. Stars win. Speaking of turning the tide, Stars ended up winning yesterday as well. What were your thoughts on that review, that goal review?
First of all, that might have been the longest review I've ever seen.
I know.
Brutal. Now, okay, here's my thoughts on it. And I've gone back and forth about it. I don't see distinct kicking motion. I see distinct kicking motion to trying to kick the puck to your stick. I don't see him trying to kick that into the net. And on top of that, it did hit off someone else's stick and went in. So again, if we're going off of that, I don't fully believe that he tried to kick that into the net. That's my attitude towards it. Now, I could be in the minority here. I'm definitely not. I think every Stars fan would probably agree with what I'm saying. But the problem with it is that it definitely turned the game around. It changed
over.
The game.
It was
because
over.
It was 2-2 going into the third. Winnipeg was playing pretty well, and Hellebuck was standing on his head.
Yep.
And so it felt like that Winnipeg could steal the game. And now I kind of feel like with a game like that, Winnipeg's chances may have really, really gone out the window with a controversial call like that.
You're basically forced to win game 4 now.
Yeah,
I don't see this team coming down 3-1 and you know what I mean? Like they have to win.
They're definitely not getting
swept,
now. Like you said.
Yeah, I know.
They're not getting swept.
But hey, if Stars win in 5, I was at least close.
Right, and if the Golden Knights win in 6, I was also almost.
I will give you that as well too. Yeah.
I
gotta put you in the minority there.
Okay.
I gotta disagree, just because I don't think you can't think in the player's mind like, oh, I was just kicking it like not at the net, right? Like I was kicking it to like my stick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
To me, a kick is a kick, and to me, the kick is clearly in the direction of the net.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I don't think it matters if it goes off of Hellebuck or not. Like the reason why the refs came off of that call yesterday, they said that like Hellebuck directed it into the net. Well, it doesn't matter. Like Hellebuck's not trying to direct it into his own goddamn net, right? So I think it should have been called back. I didn't like the call, to be honest, but then again, there's been some pretty terrible decision making so far in the second round by the refs. So I'll digress a little bit. Yeah, you can't. I can't see Winnipeg going down 3-1 and coming back and winning this series. I don't think you can win 3 in a row against Dallas. Hell, I don't even think you can win 3 of your next 4. 3 of your next 4 now. You have to beat Dallas.
That's a tough hill to climb. The one advantage, I don't even want to say an advantage, but the one thing that I think Winnipeg would have going for them is that if it gets to a game 7, at least in their situation, they're at home instead of being on the road. If they were on the road for game 7, it would be harder for me to see it. But you know what? Like, again, I think if you're Winnipeg, you got to at least take solace in the fact that you played a really strong game for the most part in game 3. And then a controversial play is the thing that kind of
Cost
turn
you.
that game around.
Yeah.
So if we're going to go off of that, you can't feel like, oh, we gave them our best effort and it wasn't good enough. It was like, no, if you can put out another good performance like that, I think you have a shot. Now, I don't know
I
if
do
you saw,
too, actually. I do too.
TNT brought up a really good graphic because we're talking about Miko. We have to talk about Miko Rantanen
Yeah.
just absolutely, dominating. When he is actually hit, when there's contact, he's not as aggressive as he is if he has space. So they showed it in game 1. He was hit one time. He scored. He got a hat trick.
Yeah, hat trick. Yeah.
Game 2, he got hit 5 times, got 0 points. Game 3, he was hit no times, ended up with another awesome performance again. His fifth game of the playoffs in which he had 3 or more points. So my thing is, let's simplify it. Based off that information, you got to be physical with Mikko Rantanen. You can't just give him all this space to do whatever the hell he wants and expect Hellebuck every single time to make a save. And unfortunately, Hellebuck on the road this year has been awful.
He's been pulled
really
3
bad.
of the 4 away playoff games.
It's not been good.
It's
So-
tough when you want to be physical too, like if you're the Jets, because they don't really have outside of Brandon Tanev. Like it's a lot of playmakers, right? They don't have a lot of guys that'll get in your face, kind of thing, outside of Tanev, right?
But again, you have to have guys that step up. You got to do it anyway.
Oh, you got it. You have to have guys that do it.
And I'll
of
tell you
course.
this: it means a lot different if one of your skill guys throwing his body around. Like, let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say that like Nikolai Ehlers lines up Rantanen and puts him on his rear end, just as an example.
Sure.
That would get that bench amped up
Yep.
because they would see that and be like, okay, he's willing to throw his body around, and like that's what I mean. So like that's really where it comes from, and also like you got to get more traffic in front of Ottinger. I don't think that the Jets are putting enough pressure on Ottinger because we saw in that first round against Colorado when he's faced with having 1 or 2 guys in front of him.
Mhm.
He really has a difficulty tracking that puck. He has a really great difficulty.
Sometimes you got to simplify it, man. And you got to create rebounds and you got to simplify it a little bit. And, not to say that guys haven't been physical. It's the playoffs. Everybody has.
Yeah.
But for Winnipeg, it's like you need some bullies a little bit in your lineup,
You need
right?
it. So,
Speaking of which, speaking of
Yeah.
bullies, the Florida Panthers are back in the series. They have tied things up at 2.
Shock of no one.
Back to Toronto, and it still stays true. You're not in trouble until you lose at home, and that's still the case here for both of these teams. Max Domi got fined $5,000 this morning for that hit from behind at the end of the game.
Been suspended.
Should have
He
absolutely been suspended.
That man came from the other side of the ice and said, basically, I'm going to try to put Barkov's lights out.
Yeah. How is that not a suspension?
I don't know.
So the only thing last night, the Sportsnet CBC crew, I like to call them, whatever, the Kevin Bieksa crew. Bieksa said it last night, and I totally disagree with him here. He said he doesn't mind the aggression, right? And he didn't mind what Domi did last night. Obviously, you're not trying to influence a hit from behind, but he likes the aggression. Okay, fair. Like you want to do some pushing and shoving at the end of the game. I totally get that. You can't pull that crap at the end of the game. Oh, that's exactly what Florida would do. Yeah, but maybe there'll be repercussions that come that way, man. Like, what are you talking about? To me, it's like, but also too, does this speak more about Max Domi, what he did, or does it speak more to what the league was going to do?
I think this speaks more to what the league was going to do. I think that's kind of
100%.
Because I think when you look at how that first round series went between Florida and Tampa and the different type of suspensions and things like that, I think you understand that, Toronto, like Max Domi, I can only think of like what he was trying to do in that moment is a combination of him being pissed off
Yeah.
that this game that they're gonna go back to Toronto tied. But also, I think he wanted to try to create some sort of an edge right at the end of Game 4, going into Game 5, and I think that's the issue I have. The issue is that
And the issue
yeah,
too, I have it as
don't
well.
get me wrong, Florida
Yeah.
would do that too. It's not like I haven't seen
course.
Florida.
Oh God, it's too
Florida did it in the first round.
What would have happened if Barkov got injured and he wasn't available for Game 5 or Game 6?
I think then that would have.
But
The
that's the thing.
NHL, in my
That
opinion, would
shouldn't
have
be
been
the case.
forced. Would have
That
been.
should not. Yeah, that shouldn't be the case
Yeah.
though. It doesn't matter if Barkov would have gotten hurt or not. There's a reason why we have the stop sign on the back of people's helmets, the kids' helmets. You don't do that. So what you're telling them is that
I didn't actually know that.
Dylan, I'll say that this. I met with Dylan at noon today for our weekly meeting, and he said he was like, that $5,000 fine is a $5 fine in reality.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
It's a slap on the wrist, like, you bad boy.
What does that do? What does that do in the long term? It makes fucking no sense. The fact that he wasn't suspended at least one game. One.
Yeah.
I hate it. What the hell is a $5,000? We're talking a dark roast coffee at Tim Hortons, for God's sakes.
Hey, it's good coffee though.
It is, but still.
I will say this. I think if you're Florida, I don't think you look to retaliate.
No. I mean, Chuck did.
No, they did. No, but they did at the end of Game 4. What I'm saying is that don't go into Game 5 looking to try to put Max Domi's lights out.
But Kachuk did. He said it at the end of the game. He was literally talking shit to the other bench, and he looked at. I think it was Nylander, and he's like, "I'm coming for you."
Yeah, I wouldn't do that though, because you know why? Right now, in this moment, you have the momentum, and
I kind of like it.
I'm just going to tell you this, Kyle. I'm just going to tell you this again. Yes, you're not in trouble until you lose a game at home, which hasn't happened yet for either one of these teams.
Sure,
but don't you think from just the past 7-8 years, don't you think that there is worry and doubt from that core creeping in just a little bit? That you went from winning
Toronto or Florida?
Toronto, yes, because now you got to go home. Because here's the thing. You lose Game 5, I don't see you winning Game 6.
Game 5 is the Leafs Game 7.
I don't see it. I don't see it because what is this Leafs core? And when I say core, I'm talking about Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, Willie Nylander, John Tavares, Morgan Riley. In the entire time that they've been together, what have they done in the past that leads me to believe that this team could come back from major adversity?
In 9 games against the Florida Panthers in the playoffs, Auston Matthews has 0 goals.
I was about to say, I'm sorry, where is Auston Matthews?
He hasn't had.
Where is this man?
Not scored.
I'd like to report a missing person. At this point,
you're getting paid how much money, and you can't score in these last 4 games in a playoff
and I'll just say this. I know this might be controversial to some people, but Mitch Marner kind of not showing up either a little bit again. Just saying, it's kind of happening again. William Nylander, even when he doesn't score, is making an impact. The man had a breakaway last night.
Yeah.
Okay? This man is doing, that man should be the captain of the damn Leafs, because honestly, the way that he puts this team on his goddamn back every freaking year in the playoff, tries to do something. Remember in that documentary, this Face Up, what was it called?
Face
and
Off.
He said, this is the fucking problem. You guys just bitch and moan. He literally called them out.
And what do? They get 4 penalties in the first period yesterday.
And to me, I knew they were losing Game 4 in the first period. They were not. They weren't ready.
That was their worst game of the series.
They looked awful.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
The only thing they can hope for is that you're going back home, where you've had a lot of success. But keep in mind, it's not like you blew out the Panthers in either game at home. You almost blew it.
They almost blew it in Game 1.
For all we know, it could be 3-1, or dare I say it, it's possible. If the Leafs weren't careful, they might have gotten swept already.
So it's funny how we look at it going into Game 5 before we move on to the last series. If the Panthers lose Game 5, I don't think there's really worry.
No.
But if the Leafs lose Game 5,
then there's panic.
Then it's panic mode, because Because then I don't know if I see this Leafs team beating Florida twice in a game 6 or a game 7. I just don't see it. So, and like that Marchand line with Luostarinen and Lundell woke up. They played phenomenal.
Oh, and can we talk about the Sam Bennett goal that was so nice last night?
Nylander and Marner blew it up in the neutral zone, and then it was a nice goal from Bennett.
Well, I mean, he stopped on a dime, coming up the right side.
Yeah,
caught Wool out of position and then shot. I thought it was a really nice goal personally, and also I loved at the end of Game 3 that they just go to Bissonnette in the studio, and he's just like, just anyone but him. Anyone but him. Like, he was very sad. And then, I don't know if you saw in the studio, they had like a whole thing set up for Marchand's birthday because it was his birthday yesterday. It was so funny. Like, I love it. I love it. And but yeah, Game 5 is the pivotal one. It's the pivotal one if you're Toronto.
Yeah.
I don't
think that's their Game 7.
If you're Florida, because it's like, you lose, you'll still be on the brink of elimination, but you're going home. And if you win that game, guess what? You get a chance to go do it again in Game 7.
I believe Wool is in net for Game 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
there's no update with
Stolarz, so that leads me to believe that Woll's can be in Game 5. The only good thing going for Toronto right now is the fact that they don't play tomorrow night and they play Wednesday. This break kind of came at a good time for them.
Lucky.
Yeah, sure, it came at a good time, actually. So it's going to be fascinating to see on Wednesday what happens. Last series we'll check out here before we sign off for the day.
This is the least talked about of the 4. I'm just going to be very honest with everybody. And I feel bad for both of these teams because it's not their fault.
Not for good reason, though, because it's boring hockey.
Look.
But, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, look, as someone who experienced playing this team in the first round of the playoffs, I get it. Like, the Hurricanes are not the most exciting team to watch play. Their defense is suffocating at times, and it showed in Game 3. Like, the Capitals had a lot of problems, like, getting going. And here's my okay. This is a controversial take. I understand what I'm going to get into when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
All right.
How much has Freddie Anderson honestly been tested through 3 games? Like, honestly, where he had to make like 40-plus saves. And that, to me...
Did you make an argument that he wasn't really tested in the first round?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. No question. I'll be honest. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I can think of like 2... Kyle, I can think of 2 periods. 2. In the entire game series where I felt like he was tested. Other than that, it's how good that defense is of Carolina. That says a lot more about the defense in front of Freddie Anderson than it does Freddie Anderson.
Right.
I'm not saying that Freddie Anderson's a terrible goaltender. He's not. But when he's not on his game, when he gives up a soft goal, because he will do that, things don't end up usually translating well. You can ask any Leaf fan when they saw him play.
True.
So for the Capitals, you got to find a way to create traffic. And I'm talking, like, if that means you got to bump Freddie Anderson, I'm not saying doing it like Timo Meier did, however controversial that might be. I'm talking about like,
what happened to Stolarz.
Or what happened to Stolarz. I'm talking about, just getting in front of him.
Make it uncomfortable almost.
Make it uncomfortable because he's too comfortable back there.
Right.
So, and look, good on Freddie Anderson. Got the shutout in Game 3. Well done. But like,
it's the hardest building to win in. I think in the NHL. I think it's a tough building to win.
Are they the only team? No. Are they the only
team? They haven't lost. They haven't lost at home.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
I feel like I'm in the same boat here with the Capitals as I am Winnipeg. Like, they lose this game coming up tonight.
Yeah, they can't.
I think it's
I don't see it.
Because you still, in order for the Capitals to win this series, you have to win in Carolina. Period. And right now, like, I just don't think they didn't look good in Game 3, and I don't think they're going to look good tonight because it's in Carolina. That's where they're most comfortable playing, and that's where they play their best hockey.
And you see, I mean, on TNT they showed the graphic, like the Canes are, and this is no surprise to any Hurricanes fan, they're much worse on the road.
Of course.
Their system doesn't work as much.
Yeah.
Their momentum is not there. So if the Capitals can be the team that finally gets a win in Carolina, to me, that changes that entire series. because now Carolina looks
Yeah.
at it like, oh, we lost at home. Okay, this is not great. This is a pivotal game if you're Washington. It is.
Yeah.
And if you don't win tonight, you're in trouble. You're
in
in
a deep, deep trouble if you
you're
don't
in
win
deep,
tonight.
you know what.
Yeah.
So,
It's because you can win game 5 all you want being down 3-1. You have to win in Carolina.
I'm honestly just glad that every series is either 2-2 or 2-1.
Close. Yeah, it's close.
Just close.
It's close, but also like that's the fascinating part about this is that it could be completely turned with just like you look at the Vegas game in game 3, right? How that could have easily gone like into overtime and Edmonton wins and they go up 3-0. Like
Sure.
it's amazing how things can change.
Yeah.
Last thing before we go, who do you got tonight predictions wise? You got like we just saw there, Carolina and Washington. In Carolina and then Vegas in Edmonton for game 4.
I'm going to go with Carolina to win tonight. I think that they're going to find a way to win another close one because they've all been close. I know that Kane scored a couple times late in game 3, but these games been fairly close.
Yeah.
I think also Vegas wins tonight. I think that they have the momentum, and I think they're going to steal that game. So I'm going to go with Carolina and Vegas. Also, really quickly. Just another update because we were talking about the World Championships.
Yeah.
Sweden is still up 1-0 late in the second period over Finland. So it's still.
I might have to turn that on.
I'm probably going to turn it on when we're done here because it's on NHL Network on my end.
And I'm in the same boat. I have Carolina tonight, and I have Vegas as well too. Speaking of tonight.
Do we make predictions for the rest of these series like now? Because they might be over by the time.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah,
I don't know if you want to.
I got Dallas. I still have Dallas winning the series, and I think Florida finds a way.
I picked Winnipeg, but yeah, I'm going to go with Dallas. Vegas, Carolina, and Florida.
Cool.
It's going to be my
all right. Well, we will be live tonight. We're gonna be jumping on about half. I might be like halfway through the second period. For tonight's live stream. Jimmy, our good friend Jimmy, will be on tonight to do the game 4 between the Hurricanes and the Capitals. Are you making it tonight? Are you gonna jump on?
I might. I gotta see. I might. I think I have a meeting at 7, but I gotta double check on that. But
I know I got a late night tonight too, but I'm gonna make it on for maybe the last period or so. Make sure to check out Jimmy. Go hang out with him for the first little bit. I'll be on there later, and maybe Neil will be jumping on too as well.
Maybe.
Be sure to enjoy the rest of the games this week. And who knows? Maybe next Monday there'll be a game 7.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great.
Might
to
be.
have that to talk about.
We're only at game 4, and it's only Monday, so
right. A lot can happen between now and the next time you guys hear from us.
All right. Everybody enjoy the great rest of the day. Get outside, go enjoy the outdoors, and we will see you all next week. See ya.